Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the incredible, long fight for women's education in America. It's a story that goes all the way from literally locked classroom doors to the much more subtle glass walls that people still talk about today.
So, what did it take? Well, for centuries, the answer was brutally simple. Education wasn't a woman's place. The classroom door wasn't just closed. For them, it was locked and bolted. Let's take a look at what it really took to pry it open.
Okay, let's rewind the clock. Way back to the colonial era. For almost 200 years, the whole idea of any kind of formal schooling for girls was, well, it was almost unheard of. There was this firm, invisible ceiling that limited their opportunities right from the start. And you can see right here, we're talking about two totally different worlds. A boy's education, that was a path, a roadmap to college and a career. But a girl's education, if she got one at all, was a path straight to the home. It was all about preparing her for domestic duties, not about expanding her mind.
But, the desire to learn, it couldn't be stamped out forever. And change started to spark, ignited by some truly pioneering women who just demanded more for themselves and for all the women who would come after them.
This timeline really shows you the very first cracks appearing in that ceiling. I mean, it started small, with what they called dame schools, basically women teaching in their own homes. But then the 1800s hit, and that brought a huge breakthrough, the first female seminaries, which offered women something that finally looked like real higher education.
And it was people, true visionaries like Emma Hart Willard, who were the force behind this change. She founded schools like the Troy Female Seminary that offered tough academic subjects, not just sewing. She was out to prove that women's minds were every bit as capable as men's.
So as public education started to spread across the country, a brand new professional door swung wide open for women. Teaching. It was a massive opportunity. But, and this is a big but, it came with some pretty serious strings attached.
Just look at this number, 90%. By the late 19th century, a staggering 90% of America's teachers were women. I mean, that's a monumental shift. It created one of the first widespread professions available to them. But the conditions? They were far from equal.
So here's the catch. This huge professional breakthrough was built on a foundation of really severe restrictions. Women were paid just a fraction of what men earned. They often had to be unmarried spinsters, the idea being their loyalty should be to the school, not to a family. Their personal lives were completely controlled, right down to where they were allowed to live. All right, so just as women were starting to aim even higher for college itself, the opposition got even more intense. And this time, opponents got creative. They tried to cloak their arguments in the language of science to hold women back.
A really powerful and, frankly, deeply damaging backlash started to take hold. The argument wasn't just about social roles anymore. Now the claim was that educating women was physically dangerous, a threat to their health and even to the future of the human race.
I mean, get this. So-called medical authorities started using pseudoscience to create actual fear. You had Dr. Edward Clark from Harvard, for example, arguing that the mental strain of college would literally divert energy from a woman's reproductive organs to her brain, making her sterile. This wasn't just some guy's opinion. It was presented as scientific fact from a hugely prestigious institution.
But you know what? Despite all that backlash, women kept pushing. They kept fighting. But it was going to take a landmark piece of federal law in the 20th century to really shatter those last legal and institutional barriers for good.
This right here, this one single sentence, it changed absolutely everything. Title IX made it illegal to discriminate based on sex in any education program that got federal money, which, let's be honest, was pretty much all of them. The impact was immediate and it was huge, affecting everything from college admissions to high school sports. And let's be clear, Title IX wasn't some friendly suggestion. It was a federally enforced mandate for equality. From that moment on, schools had to provide equal resources, equal scholarships, and equal opportunities for girls, both in the classroom and on the field. It was a true game changer. But the story doesn't end there. The fight for real equity didn't just stop in 1972. The barriers just got, well, more subtle. The locked doors were gone, yeah, but something else took their place. And that brings us to the challenge of today, the glass wall. Now, this isn't about being denied access to a university anymore. It's about those invisible biases that can still channel men and women into different specialties. Like, for instance, steering women toward less profitable areas of medicine or law, even when they have the exact same education.
When you look back at this whole long history, it really shows you that progress isn't just a destination you arrive at. It's a constant process of finding and breaking down barriers, both the ones you can see and the ones you can't. The fight has changed, but that goal of true equity is still there.
So this really leaves us with a final question to think about. The locked doors of the past have been kicked wide open, but have they just been replaced by invisible glass walls? It's something to consider as we look at the educational and professional worlds all around us.